Sure, or we could just try to review some of the elements that, again, the level of service that we have would more or less be stated at how quickly an apparatus or whoever showed up and who was it that showed up. So it's a question of how quickly they get there, and how many, and with what kind of equipment they show up. And when you say who got there, what is their level of training and the number of personnel. So, for instance, the current model that we have for fire, and correct me if I'm wrong, right now is we have a five-person response, 3 of which is on an engine and 2 are on an ambulance. Is that the correct way to put it? An ambulance. The ambulance is set up in what's called basic life support. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I do want to just add a kind of a bullet point. The ambulance is currently staffed by temporary, full-time hires, some folks we just brought on board that have gone through a recruit class, have their firefighter 1. They are EMTs, and they will be participating in a intense fire training course all next week and periodically over the next 5 weeks in order to be kind of drawn in and counted as being part of the firefighting force. And we're not quite there yet, but that ultimately within a matter of 3 or 4 weeks they will be able to be used, and that we will in fact have 5 firefighters that are trained, certified, and confident that they can do offensive interior firefighting as a team.
Well, actually, maybe the best way to do this is for you to describe to us that with the current model that we have, what sort of response could we expect from both the EMS side and the fire side, and then maybe a little bit on the more ancillary services like the hazmat, the rescue, and so forth, from the current model that we've got.
Okay. Under the current model that we have, and again, it follows along the lines of the master plan that you had from Citygate, and it basically identifies the fact that the DuPont Fire Department, at best, in any model, is going to be a first response, get there, make initial attack, fire, or initial triage treatment of a patient on the EMS side. But on the fire side, it would provide initial attack on any kind of a fire situation. Under federal standards, it requires 4 fully trained, fully equipped firefighters to be able to enter into a burning building. It's a NIOSH, an OSHA standard. It's called 2 in and 2 out. For every 2 firefighters you have interior firefighting, you're required by law to have 2 out that are able to rescue the 2 if they get into trouble, called a RIT, or Rapid Intervention Team. That's a requirement. We currently, we will in a couple weeks, but we currently meet that level of service. Prior to our agreement with Lakewood, there were times when we would have a 2-person fire engine and an ambulance that was staffed with non-fire folks, which meant that if we would have responded to a structure fire, the firefighters would have been required to remain outside until a mutual aid engine came and there was assembled 4 people to be able to go in. We currently have that handled now, and we have the ability to immediately respond and immediately provide initial attack, rescue, interior, all of those kinds of functions with a backup response, primarily from Lakewood and Fort Lewis. Under our current model, and I think see if I can do this carefully. Under our current model with Lakewood, and I use the term mothership. Okay, Lakewood, in my model, is the mothership. They have a tremendous amount of resources, a tremendous amount of training. They have virtually all level of emergency response capabilities, hazardous materials, rescue, fire, all that kind of stuff that they currently provide at a very high level in their jurisdiction. Under the current agreement with captains such as Captain Solon back here, is a connection to the mothership. So what happens is that, in essence, the way the current agreement is written, it's an interim, is that we're basically treated like another one of Lakewood stations. And so we have all of the available resources to us to some degree at the cost of having the captain. So when we have any kind of a fire or major emergency, we get a command officer, we get a ladder truck rescue company, we get medic units, we get fire engines that come automatically. The rest of the cavalry that comes on the initial response under our current agreement.